Tata Consultancy Services is a global IT services and business solutions company. It has a wealth of experience implementing solutions for the world's leading businesses. They offer a wide range of solutions for the insurance industry, including claims management, customer service, and risk management. Legal General and TCS revamped customer experience and accelerated the data engine to racing speed for 4.6 million customers. Next on stage, TCS and Legal General.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Good that you're here. Thanks for coming. My name is Egmond Philips. I'm the head of Europe for the digital marketing and customer experience practice for TCS, and I'm here together with Tom and John of Legal General, and hopefully we give you some inspiration on CX and in the field of data. Now, Formula E and insurance, what does this have to do with each other? We'll talk about that. So where you can get inspiration from Formula E, and where we get it. Well, first of all, maybe a bit about TCS and a bit about Formula E. We like to use, our talents to drive purposeful change. And in mobility, it's, going from fossil fuel to battery and electric. But insurance, there may be different things. And what we do at TCS is one of the top 3 growth and transformation companies when it comes to digital in the world. We design and we build and we grow new business models, new iconic experiences, but we also revamp existing ones. You'll see a great case today of Legal General. How we do it? Well, I would say we have technical creatives and creative technicians, and they like to use the data and AI and customer experience. Yeah, how do you get that? If you really understand how to reach the hearts and minds of customers. So combining all these 3 is where we think is the sweet spot. We do it for brands big and small, but we do it cross-industry, because we believe this cross-fertilization will bring us new things. In insurance, when you think of an ecosystem, let's say in health, so it's useful to use our health experience and what we do there and bring that to, for instance, a health platform like Vitality, UK. Formula E, a whole different game. 7 out of 10 fans are under 35. Wouldn't we all like to have that kind of customers and audiences? And what do you do for them? They're different. They care about the environment. They don't want to own things. They rather use things. They think you have to take care of society, of each other, of the disabled, and are more inclusive. How do you communicate with them? Now, another thing that's quite different in Formula E racing is the circuits have more angles. Why? Because you want to reuse the energy of braking. So it's also a different game of reusing and regenerating energy. There's 11 teams. Jaguar and TCS sponsor 2 of them. And I'm quite proud to say that Mitch, last week in the Portland race, has become the fastest Formula E driver in history at 276.6 kilometers an hour. So we're not quite at Formula 1 speed, but each generation will go faster at a lower usage of energy. 3 analogies maybe from Formula E to insurance. One is the speed of analytics. In Formula E, between the qualification and the race, there's only 3 hours. So the data from the qualification needs to go, to the pit, to the base, analyze, new strategy, back to the race, back in the car, go. And of course, this data, performance data during the race, you need to analyze at top speed because you need to enable the driver to win. And yes, it's still a manned race, right? So how to facilitate the driver? Put the driver really in the driver's seat. What does he have on his dashboard? How to perform at max, make the right moves at the right moment, at the right time. So there, I think insurers can learn and get inspiration. How do we put customers in the driver's seat? And simulation is also very important. Formula E is one big software machine, right? You can simulate, you can make a twin, you can already drive the race a zillion times before actually your tires hit the asphalt. In insurance, we can also do more about that, simulate more. I'll talk a bit about that. A few cases before we go into the Legal General example, with putting customers in the driver's seat. 3 examples. One is for a South African insurer, Momentum Metropolitan. We build a platform, and it's a conversational platform that interacts with customers on Facebook, on WhatsApp, and of course on the self-service platform. With Deutsche Bank, we grew along with them since 2013, building their app. And Virgin Atlantic, we combined travel and the flights in one experience. And don't we in insurance also see that in this mobility and travel platforms, we want to embed insurance, we want to be the owner of the customer. Very interesting learnings from Virgin Atlantic there as well. Some results, if you look at Momentum in South Africa, you can see we don't only make the customers happy, the CX is better, but also costs will go down. If you see that with 95% accuracy, you can actually interact with them. And 10 to 50% of the calls can be deflected to this conversation strategy. That saves money as well. The Deutsche Bank example is growing with them. Then you see, when Apple Watch came in, you have to adapt to that. We implemented and did that with them. Then biometric authentication comes in, you have to work with that. GDPR, we all like this new legislation, right? You have to accommodate for that. And yes, we win prizes together like the Red Dot Design Award, and we're proud of that. Simulation, a few examples. With Bovemij, a Dutch insurer, we've created a new B2C and a B2B platform. On that platform also the car repair companies. So we could create whole new business models and new propositions. But you want to make sure that you build it in a way you can scale it up or stop if it doesn't work. Things you can test. Digital twin is something we have developed so we can help companies test with existing data if a persona, a product, a proposition works. And that reduces the risks of your investments because we think you need to experiment to the max, but of course you need to do that in a way that it's safe. Now, the fun about racing is that you can bring all kinds of learnings from the race to the road. And from all this testing, experimenting, you can bring it to the road and then get massive scale. And when it's about massive scale, I think L&G is one of the larger insurance companies. So if you do anything there, if you do it right, it will be fantastic. If you make a mistake, it will be a disaster. So happy that Tom and John are here to share what they did with our humble help to revamp user experience and also to boost the data engine and go from days, hours to microseconds. And I guess I'd now give the wheel to these great racing drivers to give you information on that. Here you go.
Thank you very much. So hi, hello, I'm Tom Neville, and John and myself work as part of Legal & General Retail Retirements, which is one division of a huge financial services organisation in the UK and beyond. And we specifically work in workplace pensions, so just sidebarring off from insurance just for a moment. And that part of the business is very significant for retail as well. And it's grown from, in the last decade, we had 1,000 schemes, 200,000 members, to kind of 20 times that in that last decade, to where we are now, where 4.9 million members. It's, the intro video, it's got to keep pace. We keep gaining more people, and 63 billion assets under management. And in fact, we actually have one scheme that is 200,000 members on their own. So where we went from. And that growth's been driven by a couple of things. Auto-enrollment, which has widened the number of people having pensions and their employers contributing on their behalf. And of course, the fantastic products, propositions and services Legal & General offer. But life moves pretty fast. And if you don't stop and take a minute, you can miss it. With this continued success of the last decade, the challenge we sort of set ourselves was, okay, everything's growing, everything's coming in quicker. As we say, we've already gone 300,000 more in the last 6 months. We need to look at ourselves and go, how do we keep pace? How do we not burden? But also, how do we continue to modernise? And like Formula E, we too have a new audience. Half of pension enrolments are 35 and under. So, almost in the same sort of ballpark as the Formula E fans. And we can't engage with them in the old way. They want to know quickly about how we can get that data from, as Egmont says, from days and hours down to minutes and milliseconds. And also, we've got to be more interactive and more engaging and drive more self-service for those customers, because they don't want to be phoning up. They don't want to be on a call for hours to try and get through to stuff. They want to be in control. But speaking of that, let's just start with a little bit of participation from yourselves. I know we're leading up to lunch. I'm going to try and get a bit of energy in the room. Could I ask you to raise the hand your dominant hand, the hand that you write with? In my case, it's my right hand. Okay, cool, thank you. The person next to you is not going to tickle you, don't worry. If you could then get your index finger, take it to your forehead and write an E, please. An uppercase E or a capital E. Okay, so no need to shout out, but it probably tells you a little bit about yourself, which way you wrote that E. If you wrote it to us to face, that means you'll have empathy. If you're writing it towards yourself, maybe not so much, and you'll probably go a lot further than John and I in your careers. But why is that important? Well, empathy is incredibly important when you're trying to get something off the ground and trying to do something quite revolutionary in a, let's face it, highly regulated, risk-averse field like financial services. And so we wanted to how can we get highly performant data into more in the cloud technology space, but we couldn't just sell that. Let's face it, I'm not going to woo you by saying, hey, can I unburden your mainframe, or can I reduce your latency? It's not really going to sell it to me as a CEO or an MD of our organization. But so we had to make sure we showed and not told. But we had to pick something significant. So we picked the cornerstone of our business, which John will show you through a bit later. That is the way that all those assets come in, how those contributions and those enrollments come in. And we looked at, okay, let's pick that up. And that is what's known as My Scheme Updates now. And John will do some showing of that in a moment. But again, 20,000 users will be on this as we continue to roll it out. But those 20,000 users are both internal, external. They're from different businesses. They have different demands, different priorities, ranging from a farmer with maybe 4 employees or, and is not interacting with a computer daily, all the way through to FTSE 100 companies, banks, major retailers, and who have teams of people doing their payrolls, from HR or finance specialists to data analysts. And the easy way would have been, right, let's just focus on those large ones that sort of know what we're doing and that experience of HR, and they understand the regulations and everything. We're going to do that. But there's no fun in that. We wanted to build out to the wide spectrum of customers that we have, because Legal & General is all about making sure that we are for all. There is, everybody is important no matter the scale and the size. And we started with some design thinking stuff, working with our partners TCS up in London. And we were, through that, able to sort of group our users into 4 broad types. But we kind of realized we had a very varied amount of both computer literacy and actually pensions regulation knowledge. And we had to try and tailor this application to cater for all of that. And hopefully what John will talk you through later will show you some of that. And that was why the design thinking was very critical. And we've actually continued those principles throughout, even as we've rolled out to the schemes. We're taking constantly feedbacking loop. And that's what some of this new technology and working with our partners enable us to, is to constantly put, as those racers do, is they win a race, they don't stop, they then keep training and they run again, and they see how other ways they can improve it, and they take the feedback from their technicians. And so that's sort of the front end and how we got to there, but also we had that big piece about getting the mainframe. Now, Legal & General are an established financial services organisation, been around for over 100 years, and whilst we have quite a bit in the tech space and we're getting bigger, we don't have a huge technology team. We rely on our colleagues at TCS. And I know, obviously, that KP in the room, Egmont today, some of the guys back at home, I know that Legal & General as a whole, and me personally, are their most important customer. But I know also if I was to go to any of their offices, as I do, and I do a roll call and headcount, I know I'm not their biggest customer. And that's all right, I'm okay with that, because they have those expertise, they have those battle scars from implementing some of this modern new technology, they have the different verticals that can provide that expertise, and we can combine that with our industry knowledge and our pensions knowledge and our user experience to get that insight and to really drive things forward. And that's where I've told you about the story of where we started, and John will continue through. So thank you.
Thanks, Tom. As Tom mentioned, with combined leadership across TCS and Legal & General, we established our ways of working adopting Agile Scrum methodology. 2 independent Scrum teams were established, complementing Legal & General's expansive experience across the workplace savings domain, coupled with TCS's best-in-class design and technical expertise in the technology choices that we're working within, from Amazon Web Services to MongoDB and many other cloud technology. Team 1 was responsible for the change data capture component. It was tasked with getting access to our operational data that is held in a mainframe. Team 2 was responsible for building an industry-leading, best-in-class, client-facing application called MyScheme Updates, which will be used by administrators across the UK to administer their workplace pension, which is really about transmitting enrolment and contribution data across the Legal & General, which is part of the legislative duties. And finally, a joint group across TCS and Legal & General provided oversight and governance and direction to those Scrum teams, ensuring an appropriate level of collaboration at all points and making sure that both teams complemented each other. So that was how we went about doing our project. Now I'll talk a little bit about what we did. Team 1 was responsible for the key part of our project, which was answering the question of how do we get access to operational data that is currently held in a mainframe. Our goal was to replicate that data in near real time using cloud technology. And by real time, I mean within a matter of seconds. By achieving this feat would unlock incredible business benefit for us in the future. But I must admit, some of our colleagues did not necessarily think this was possible. But Legal & General and TCS embarked on the challenge, and we implemented an event streaming platform, which included Click Replicate, which is a log-based change data capture solution, which ingests mainframe log files in a low footprint manner on our mainframe. Then a combination of Confluent Kafka and a MongoDB sync connector manages and streams those log files into our new operational data store, which is hosted on MongoDB. From there, in order to replicate all of those in-scoped mainframe tables, we utilize AWS Batch for the initial data load and AWS microservices for the chain streams to keep that data up to date in near real time. And then finally, not last but not least, the key part of our service is to transform those existing data structures into the optimum view of the customer. And that is where the value that My Scheme Updates will have by getting greater access to that operational data in a format that they require. Team 2, which was about the web application, was about designing and building a new client-facing application to administer pension schemes. We put our customers at the heart of our ideation phase, conducting numerous one-on-one interviews in order to uncover the challenges that we have with the existing application and process, and also try to uncover the opportunities to improve our overall customer experience. A key call-out was our users felt that they were spending far too long on this process. From there, and using those insights, we created a high-fidelity functional prototype, where again, we used our customers to provide feedback on our new journey. We learned so much from that experience. Our challenge was clear. How do we create one application that covers such a diverse user group that we have? From farmers, whose expertise is in the fields, not on a computer, to dedicated payroll administrators who work for the largest companies across the UK, who want to spend as little time on this process so that they can go about their day with their many other tasks to complete. So in order to achieve that, we came up with 4 key design principles that would be adhered to at every stage of development. 1, a simple, intuitive customer journey. Our application must cater for our diverse user group, which has a wide spectrum of computer literacy. At every point of the journey, we give them clear calls to action with just 1 or 2 options to choose from. 2, self-service. With so many schemes under administration with Legal & General, as Tom said, 13,000, our dashboard puts the user in full control of their pension scheme, providing all of the information that they require at every point. It is vital that happens because it will avoid them having to contact Legal & General to provide support, which when you have so many users, that is really important for us. 3, a user must be able to complete a submission in a single user session. By harnessing the power of our operational streaming platform that Team 1 delivered and having greater access to our operational database in a much more consumable way and in a format that we defined, we have seen a 97% improvement in performance times. What that means is, for example, our largest client with over 200,000 employees, it takes just 3 minutes to upload and validate all records. And finally, the application must be easily maintainable and rapidly iterative. Through the robust decisions that we made and the choices in technology, we are already starting to enhance our customer journey and add new features which provides even more benefits to our customers and to the business division that we operate within. And finally, like Formula E, where a lot of the engineering for the race makes its way into everyday cars and into other industries, what's been really encouraging for Tom and myself is that a lot of the key learnings and design patterns are being shown across the department. The operational streaming platform is at the heart of our IT strategy, enabling our business like never before. We have 4 new customers also benefiting from the greater access. So yes, we're seeing lots and lots of improvements. So where we started to where we have come, I don't think we would have thought we would get here, but we've still got lots to do. TCS helping us along the way. So thank you for inviting us to share a little bit about our journey, and I'll hand over to Egmont to finish us up.
Thanks, John. That was a great story, and I think why we wanted to do this together is to share with you, how to organize a complex project, 4.6 million users. Smart design principles, John, I think that is the thing to do. Start with the design principles from the beginning. How to apply expertise to speed and skill, and we were happy to help you with that. And experience-driven design, yeah, it all starts with the customers you've shown, from farmer to HR professional. And, this is what we're here for. We want to create a better world for, the next generation. The next generation needs a pension as well, and it needs to be simple, and it needs to be easy to use, and it needs to be good. So it was good to have you here. Thank you for your story. Thank you for being here, and enjoy the show. Please visit our demo car. We'll tell you all about it. We can tell you more at our booth. Thank you very much. Have a great event. Thank you.